Emily gazed thoughtfully out the window. A young pretty girl was playing with her little son on the playground. This was Kevin's nanny. It was Emily's husband who insisted on hiring the nanny. He thought that during the months of pregnancy and the year following Kevin's birth, Emily had grown very tired. All mothers go through this. This is our destiny. Emily tried to refuse the nanny for her son. I'm coping just fine. Why waste extra money? I want my young wife to look flawless. James persuaded her. You will have more time for yourself. And money, well, it's not your concern. I think I've given you no reason to doubt that I can adequately provide for our family. In the end, Emily agreed. She was used to trusting her husband. James was one of those men who didn't need explanation or proofs. They saw everything themselves and made bold decisions. James was older than his wife, owned a large business, and never denied her anything. James himself brought the nanny to their home on a warm summer evening when Emily was feeding the baby seated in a high chair. Meet Haley, dear, he said. And this is our precious Kevin and my wife, Emily. James beamed with joy. Emily scrutinized the nanny, a tall, slender brunette with long, loose hair and a noticeable bust under her t-shirt did not appeal to her. In Emily's view, a nanny should look different. Her friend Kayla's nanny, for instance, was around 45. The woman had raised 2 children herself and now spent her free time working for Emily's longtime friend Samantha. Kayla always looked decent, dressed in a comfortable dress or pantsuit, knew many children's recipes, and could feed the children if needed. But what could this girl do? Emily noticed that the girl was attractive, and that was all. Where was her experience in raising children? Where was her ability to interact with them? She probably didn't know a single lullaby. James, can I speak to you for a moment? Emily stepped out of the kitchen, gesturing for her husband to follow her. Who did you bring into the house? A nanny, of course. James was surprised by his wife's reaction. She came highly recommended. By whom? Where did you find her? Emily, listen, what does it matter where I found her? The main thing is that you will have more time free. We can go out together more. You have long waited to go to a restaurant or a theater. I don't understand why you're so reacting this way to Hallie. Because she needs a nanny herself, Emily snapped. Stop it. She's quite grown up, cheerful, and very nice. Her husband took Emily's hand and led her back to where they had left their son with Hallie. James, you said I will have my own room in your house. Hallie asked the master of the house with a smile. Oh, yes, of course. Emily will show you everything, James promised. Emily was surprised that her husband offered a barely known girl to live in their house. She thought it will be a day nanny who will spend a few hours a day with Kevin, walking, playing, and feeding him when Emily needed to take care of her own business. But her husband, without even asking if she minded, offered Hallie to live in their house. Emily frowned. Deep down, jealousy stirred within her. Hallie settled in the house. Emily watched her, hoping that her first impression was wrong. The girl behaved normally, not showing any particular abilities or talents as a nanny. Most often, she sat Kevin on the floor, scattered toys around him, and gave the child complete freedom of action. Meanwhile, she filled and painted her nails, did her makeup, and watched talk shows on TV. Hallie, I'd ask you not to paint your nails in the room where the child plays, Emily once remarked to the nanny. The nail polish you use has a terrible smell. It's harmful for the baby to inhale. You're exaggerating. There is no smell, Hallie argued. And besides, I opened the window. What? You opened the window, put Kevin on the floor? Emily was afraid that the boy sitting in a draft will get sick and pick him up. Why are you so making such a fuss? I didn't do anything wrong. Emily pursed her lips and left the nursery. To calm herself, she decided to visit her friend. Samantha lived nearby. Emily put Kevin in the stroller and went outside. Samantha was happy about the unexpected visit from her friend. She met Emily outside and bent over the stroller to get a better look at the baby. What's wrong with you? You're so nervous. The girl asked Emily, noticing her concern. How can I not be nervous? The mother carefully adjusted the pillow under the head of the sleeping Kevin. This nanny, she just annoys me. She's insolent. She doesn't know how to do anything. She can't even cook porridge. And how to deal with a child. It's beyond her comprehension. Well, kick her out then. Why do you need her? Samantha advised. I can't. James insisted that this impudent girl lives in our house and helps me with the baby, but I can barely stand her. Samantha opened the door to the apartment, and Emily wheeled the stroller into the hallway. She didn't want to transfer her son to avoid waking him. The baby was peacefully sleeping, smiling in his sleep. My angel, Emily whispered. Samantha's children were with Kyla. The nanny had taken them to the park for the rides. The girl offered her friend coffee, and they went to the kitchen, where it smelled deliciously of aromatic broth. Samantha was cooking lunch. You need to talk to James, express your concern, insist that he fires this girl. Samantha advised, pouring aromatic coffee into a white cup. And by the way, where did he find this Haley? I don't have much experience, but our Kayla is nothing like her. She's very attentive to my children. I don't know where my husband found this nanny either. James didn't tell me. Emily shook her head. He just told me that Hallie will now live in our house and help with Kevin. But in reality, she just takes care of herself, not the child. That's strange, Samantha said. What exactly? Please forgive me, but the first thing that comes to mind is that Haley might be... Samantha hesitated, choosing her words not to offer or hurt Emily. Could she be dear to him? What do you mean, Samantha? Emily looked at her friend in alarm. Don't you think they might be having an affair? Samantha said more confidently. Otherwise, why will he let her live in your big house? The nanny could come at certain hours and do her job. And once again, jealousy took hold of Emily. She returned home determined to have a serious talk with her husband. James came home late. It was a tough day, darling, he said, kissing his wife on the cheek. Tomorrow I have a meeting with partners. It's very important that you supper me. I always supper you, Emily nodded, sat in the dinner table. No, you don't understand. James looked at Emily intently. You must come with me to this meeting. But why? I don't understand anything about your business. The girl looked at James in surprise. Let them see that my business is thriving and that I have such a charming, intelligent wife, her husband said. But what about Kevin? I can leave him. Emily looked anxiously at James. He was deftly handing a knife and fork, finishing off the roast beef that Emily had prepared for dinner. Kevin has a nanny. She will take care of him, her husband said calmly. Emily sat down opposite, poured herself a glass of orange juice, and said, By the way, about the nanny. I wanted to talk about Hallie. I don't like this girl. I would like her to... Emily didn't have time to finish. Her husband interrupted her, looking at her sternly. Are you starting again? It's decided. Hallie will live here and look after our son. But she does nothing at all. And today she put the child on the floor and opened the window. He could have caught a cold, Emily exclaimed. You're exaggerating, dear. It's so hot outside that catching a cold is impossible. And let's end this pointless conversation. James frowned. Your nitpicking is ruining my appetite. Her husband thanked Emily for dinner and went to the bedroom. The girl just sighed. Arguing with her husband was useless. But she couldn't understand why he insisted so much that Hallie lived in their house. The next day, when leaving for work, James told his wife, Dear, I will send a card for you at 5 o'clock. Please try to look splendid. It's important to me. Yes, I have already made an appointment at the beauty salon, and now I will choose a dress. What do you think? Shall it be businesslike, or can I choose something evening? Emily hadn't slept all night. Kevin was crying, and Hallie didn't even think to come to his crib. You just need to be elegant and make an impression on my partners. James smiled. And still, I worry about leaving Kevin with this. I'm already late. The man hurriedly kissed his wife on the cheek and went out the door. Emily went to the nursery. Kevin was sleeping peacefully in the crib. How adorable my little baby is, thought the girl. The boy's eyelashes flittered. He rubbed his eyes with his fists and woke up. Hallie, Emily called, looking out the door. Take care of the child while I prepare breakfast. The nanny came out of the room in a thin silk nightgown with unkempt hair. What's this habit of yelling throughout the house so early? She said irritably. I need to cook porridge for Kevin, Emily said. Stay with him, wash and change the baby. Hallie sat down in an armchair opposite the crib. Emily just shook her head in annoyance and left the room. Taking milk from the fridge, she poured it into a saucepan and took out a pack of baby food. Hallie's insolence was off the charts. James gave her money every month for looking after Kevin and didn't refuse if Hallie asked before the appointed day. She looked more like James' keep woman than a nanny to Emily. A couple of hours later, the girl was already sitting in the hairdresser's chair. Emily's phone rang in her purse. Excuse me, she said to the stylist who was doing her hair. Could you please get my phone? The mobile phone was ringing. It was Samantha. Emily, darling, I was passing by the playground and saw your husband talking to your nanny. And it seemed to me that they were arranging a meeting. The girl said quickly, Why do you think so? My husband is already at the office. Emily didn't believe her friend. That can be. Think what you want, but I'm not blind. The girl hung up. Emily pondered. It was strange. At this time, Hallie usually played with Kevin on the playground. That was true, but her husband wasn't supposed to be there. Leaving the beauty salon, Emily got into a taxi and went home. She didn't find Hallie there, nor did she find her little son. Where could they have gone? Thought the boy's mother, and hurried to the playground, hoping to find the nanny and the child. Maybe they got carried away and didn't go home. But what she saw there shocked Emily. A neighbor was pushing a stroller with a sleeping Kevin away from the place where his children, his daughter and son, were playing. John, why are you with my child? Emily asked, running up to the man. And where is our nanny? Hello, don't worry, Kevin is fine. I gave him a cookie and juice. The boy ate and fell asleep sweetly. The neighbor answered. But where is Hallie? Emily was puzzled. I don't know. Kevin was playing with my kids where she got a call and quickly left. I even called out to her, but she didn't look back," the man replied. Emily looked anxiously at her son sleeping in the stroller. Samantha's assumption that Hallie was James's mistress didn't leave her mind. Could her husband be deceiving her, and Hallie's appearance into the house was just a cover for an affair with a young girl? Emily had to check everything herself. "Listen, John, could you stay with my son a little longer? I need to leave for a while," she asked the neighbor. "No problem," the man shrugged. "But you're so worried. Do you need help?" "No, everything is fine. I can handle it." Emily shook her head. "Please stay with the baby." She quickly called a taxi and rushed to her husband's office, thinking she wouldn't find him there. Since they were supposed to be at the restaurant in a half an hour, where James had scheduled a meeting with his partners, Hallie chose the right moment. She knew that James wouldn't be in the office today. He was going to the restaurant with his wife. Her friend, James' secretary, had informed her. "Come quickly," she said. "He's already gone." Leaving Kevin on the playground, Hallie rushed to James' office. There was no one in the office. The girl took out her mobile phone and found a message with a 6-digit code from the safe. It wasn't difficult for her to open it. She put bundles of money into a large bag one by one. Finally, she will get revenge on this scoundrel who had treated her mother so cruelly, leaving her pregnant to fend for herself. Suddenly, Hallie heard footsteps in the hallway. Forgetting to close the safe, she hid under the desk, clutching the bag with the money. "James, I'm in your office. Why is the door open and the safe not locked?" Not finding her husband, Emily called him on the phone. "I'm on my way to the restaurant." "Why are you at the office?" James asked irritably, but Emily fell silent sharply. The girl saw a foot sticking out from under the desk. She slowly approached and squatted down to look under the desk. "Hallie, what are you doing here?" Emily asked in surprise. "Aren't you supposed to be with Kevin?" Worried by his wife's call, James was already rushing to the office. When he entered the office, he saw a horrifying scene. Hallie was beating his wife. He separated the girls, pushing the nanny, and she fell onto the leather sofa. "Shameless thief!" James hissed through his teeth. "And I believe you. Peter, you. What's going on here, James? Will you explain to me?" A frightened Emily looked from her husband to the nanny. The man sat down in his work chair. A bag with the money Hallie had stolen from the safe lay on the desk in front of him. "I will explain. A few months ago, I found out I have a daughter, an adult daughter. Emily, this is Hallie. I brought her into the house under the guise of a nanny. Tried to take care of her as best I could, gave her money, but I didn't want to tell you the truth. Not yet. Your money is nothing compared to how you treated my mother. And for this witch, Emily, you did everything. You took care of her, by her jewelry and expensive clothes." Hallie hissed angrily. "And this money is just a small compensation for my miserable childhood. Take it." The man pushed the bag with the money to the edge of the desk. "But I'm not sure you will be able to use it anytime soon." He pressed the security call button. A minute later, men in uniforms were in the office, taking the girl, who was glaring angrily at Emily and James.